Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into today's show. Welcome to my lounge. I'm Coach Ed, and this is Coach Ed's Amazing World of Sports. Now, today we're going to continue the series of 10 strong New York Giants. So I hope you enjoy the show. Make sure you have your drinks, sit back, kick your feet up, and let's get into it. Now, the New York Football Giants have done a good job this offseason of changing the roster. Even in the running back position, there has been some changes within it, within the position group as it is. So, of course, we're going to talk about, of course, the face of the franchise, Saquon Barkley, but, there are others that are inclusive in this group. Saquon Barkley, Matt Breida, Gary Brightwell, Antonio Williams, Jayshon Corbin, and Jeremiah Hall. Those are all the running back fullbacks that are on the roster. Now we're going to break down, their stats, their stature. I'm also going to give you a little insight to what I think they will do and where they will wind up on the roster. I'll also go over who I think won't make the roster and if they'll end up on the practice squad or not. Now, after we're done, you let me know what you think. Okay? All right, I hope you enjoy. Now, when we start with Saquon Barkley, like I said, he's the face of the franchise. He was drafted by us, brought here as a number 2 pick, and his rookie year, he was very dynamic. But the last couple of seasons, he's been hurt. Injuries have taken their toll and limited his production. So, but for a player at 6'2", 232 pounds, extremely fast, dynamic, elusive, he can do so much within the running game as well as in the receiving game. Now, in his rushing attacks for his career, he's at 659 carries for 2,937 yards, an average of 4.5 yards per carry. Now, he's run for 19 touchdowns, had 1 fumble. He's had a long, in terms of a run, of 78 yards. Now, in terms of plus yards, he's had 20 yards or more 27 times. So in other words, he's rushed for 20 or more yards 27 times over his career. Now he's also gone over 40 yards 11 times. So, that shows you, how dangerous he is on the football field. Like I said, he's had a long of 78 yards. So, he can definitely take it to the house at any time he touches the ball. And defenses also know that too. Now in the receiving game, he's had 190 receptions for 1,482 yards, a 7.8 reception yards. So that's pretty dynamic. He's had a long of 65, 8 touchdowns, and in the 20 plus, he's had 13, and the 40 plus, he's had 5. So again, like I said, whenever he touches that ball, defenses know he can take it to the house at any point in time. Now, the next running back is Matt Breida. Now, Breida, has had a fairly decent career. He's jumped around, been to several teams, but he's a veteran. He knows how to go out there and be productive. He knows what to do. He can definitely catch the ball, run the ball, and cause havoc, against the defense. When he's run the ball, he's had 466 carries for 2,281 yards. That's an average of 4.9. So, like Barkley was 4.5 yards per carry, he's 4.9. So, that's just showing you that he's just as elusive and dangerous out of the bat when he's running the ball. He's had a long of 83 yards, 7 touchdowns, but he's had 7 fumbles. Now, in the plus 20, he's had 18 of those carries. The plus 40, he's had 2. Receptions, he's had 83 receptions for 729 yards, an average of 8.8 yards per reception. Along the 32 with 6 touchdowns. The plus 20, he's 10, but the plus 40, he's 0. Now, when you look at Breida, like I said, he can be very productive. He can definitely, run that rock and score the touchdowns. But equally, that's concerning for me is the fumbles. As I said before, the ball is the money. You don't throw your money away. You just don't do that. You got to protect it at all times. So he has to do a better job of protecting the ball. Now, can he get it down to, hopefully maybe under one a season? That's what I would look for out of a running back, especially if he's going to be a backup. You don't want to worry about, when he's out there, if he's carrying the ball 5 to barely 10 times a game, you don't want to see him, the possibility of him fumbling the ball. So he has to do a better job of protecting the ball. But also when he's catching the ball, 8.8 yards for a running back, that's pretty decent. So, yes, we would like to see it over 10, but 8.8 is decent. And, he can definitely, cause a little havoc for the defense, especially matched up against some linebackers. Now, the next running back I want to talk about is Gary Brightwell. Brightwell, last year, his rookie season, he was hurt quite often. When he did get out on the field, it was, primarily in special teams, but, it really wasn't that much. Now Brightwell stands at 6'1", 218 pounds. He's had one rushing attempt for 4 yards, no touchdowns, and one reception for 6 yards with no touchdowns. So as you see, he wasn't afforded a lot of opportunities, but that's also because of the trust factor. Did they really believe in him? So this season, preseason, he's really going to have to really show this coaching staff, especially a new coaching staff, what he can do. If not, he's going to be sitting in the lounge with us. The next running back we're going to talk about is Antonio Williams. 5'11", 215 pounds. He's been a little bit more productive than Brightwell, but he's been around a little bit more, jumping around from a few different teams. When he has had an opportunity, which hasn't been much, he has taken advantage and he has produced. When he did, even though it was extremely limited, he's had 12 carries for 63 yards, for 5.2 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, 1 reception for 20 yards, and no touchdowns. So, as you see, when he does have the opportunity, even if it's as a mop-up duty time, he still is a little bit productive. 5.2 yards per carry is pretty good. So that just tells you, hopefully if he gets more of an opportunity, he can continue to produce, probably within the 4.7 to the 5.2 range that he is currently at. So that's an interesting, in terms of numbers, that's very interesting, on the back end of the roster for the running back position. Now, when I go into the rookies, first up is Jashaun Corbin. He's an undrafted free agent out of Florida State University, 6 feet, 221 pounds. Now, his numbers in college were fairly, I don't want to say pedestrian, but one thing that he did as from his sophomore to his senior season, he improved each year. So you see that with the opportunities and with time, he can produce. He's had over his full college career 143 carries for 887 yards, a 6.2 yard per carry, 7 touchdowns, 25 receptions for 144 yards, 5.8 carries for catch, and 1 touchdown. So he's the type of back that, given time, he can develop and he can be fairly productive. Played against some of the top competition, even had a long 70 plus against Notre Dame. So, he can, when he gets into the clear, he can take it to the house. So, he's not a slouch, especially for a guy with his size. And the last one is Jeremiah Hall. He's more of a fullback. He's also an undrafted free agent, 6'2", 248 pounds, and he's out of Oklahoma. Now, one of the things that I did notice is that he also played not only fullback, but he also played tight end, and he played tight end at Oklahoma. Now, his running is been very sparse, 13 carries, 53 yards for 4.1 yards per carry, one touchdown. But like I said, he made his money at least in the reception game. 68 receptions, 757 yards, 11.1 yards per reception, and 12 touchdowns. Now, with him, like I said, he's the fullback. I see him, making a roster there, but I also see him possibly being the H-back if it's used, as well as another tight end. So that's also someone who's going to go into that position and fighting with the other tight end. So what does Dable and the coaching staff do there? Because his versatility, does that mean that they will carry less tight ends? Is it two? Is it three? Is it four? What do they do? Over the course as they go into the regular season. Now, when I break down who's going to do what in terms of the roster, uh, Saquon Barkley is going to be the starter. He's going to be the bell cow, and he's going to get the most of the carries. A good percentage of the carries. Behind him, I have Breida. Breida, I think, is definitely the number 2 running back. That I don't think that they worry about, too much of a drop off. I think he's going to be very productive, when he goes out there. So, I'd see Breida as the number 2. Now, when it gets to the number 3, between Brightwell, Antonio Williams, and Jay-Sean Corbin, right now, Brightwell, I don't see making the roster. If he was going to make the roster, it was just going to be on specials. But unless he really goes out there and he really wows the coaching staff, but based on what we saw last year, I do not foresee him, making the roster. I think he's going to end up getting cut. And if it comes down to Corbin and Williams, the preseason is the big factor. Right now, I have Williams slightly ahead, but if Corbin really is even with him, then I can see Corbin being the number 3 running back, and Williams basically ending up on the practice squad or completely getting cut. So right now, like I said, I have Williams slightly ahead, being the number 3 back, and Jay-Sean Corbin ending up on the practice squad. So that's how I see it when it comes to the running back position. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm way off base? Of course, not with Barkley, but with everyone else. What do you think? Where do you think the guys will end up? Do you think they all make it, or do you think it's only going to be 3 running backs and that's it? None of these guys make the practice squad. Do you think Hall makes it in? Do I have merit when I say he can also be the H-back tight end? What do you guys think? Make sure you comment, let me know, give me your suggestions in reference to the running back position. All right, so I thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already done, subscribe, like this show today. Also, share it on all your social media platforms. Definitely help grow this program to become one of the better programs that are out there. I really appreciate all your help and all your comments and everything that you guys do. It really means a lot to me. So also do me a favor, to all the members of the Big Blue Crew, first of all, thank you. You guys are a great inspiration. You guys are helping me. You're coaching me up very well. I mean, I still have a long way to go, but I'm definitely going to get there. And I appreciate you guys. I hope I'm representing you guys well. Thank you all. And to anybody who's not already subscribe to all these members. Just look up the Big Blue Crew. If you need to, let me know, and I'll tell you who, and put all the info out there so you guys can go ahead and subscribe to all of them, because they do some great content. It's not just in for New York Giants, it's all sports, whether it's boxing, football, basketball, baseball, whatever it is, they all do a great job. And I'm very proud to, be associated with these group of ladies and gentlemen, because they do a phenomenal job. So, um, again, like I said, thank you everyone for tuning in today. I really, really appreciate you guys for tuning in. And like I said, let me know what you guys think. All right. So I hope you enjoyed today's show. Hope you help you get another insight into our New York Football Giants as we get ready for the season coming up. I'm very excited, and I'm looking forward to the season coming up. And like I always say in sports, make sure you turn it on and turn it up. Peace. Be safe out there.